So today I'm going to talk about why Apex, in my opinion, is in a shit state right now. And that may be of no surprise to y'all, as for the past, I would say, 2 years, it's not been the best game. And I'll start off by giving my first point to this reason. And it starts out with the ranked game mode. Okay. The dropping system in the ranked game mode is horrible. There is a token saying that you say in all battle royale games. You say it at the start of every game. It is, where are we dropping, boys? And currently, in current ranked Apex, you do not get to choose where the boys are dropping. The game chooses for you. I'll go over why this is horrid for game design, and especially for battle royale game design, and why the devs know better than to do this. So, a key aspect of battle royales is choosing where to drop. You can drop at an ROI that is heavily contested, but usually they have the best loot, hence why it's heavily contested. Or you can drop on the edge of the map, and maybe it is an ROI that's just not contested often, or maybe it's not an ROI. Maybe it's just a dropping location that you go on a loot path, but you drop there because it's less risky, but alternatively you get worse loot, right? That's how it's always been in the battle royale genre. But now they decide, hey, we're going to completely do away with that great system where players choose and decide where to drop, and we're just going to pick for you. Now, since there are 20 teams that drop or have to drop in now, you have to have 20 landing locations that are all equal on each map. Let me tell you something, they're not. So one team every game will have what's called the best landing location, okay? And they will have a chance of getting that best landing location every time they choose to queue into a game, which is 1 in 20, okay? Or approximately 5% of the time, they will have the best landing location in the game, and they will have the highest chance of winning the game due to that. So statistically speaking, usually the best location on each map is an ROI in a central location. Alternatively, there will be a team that lands not in an ROI, or in an ROI with less loot than the rest of the map, on the edge of the map. This team is at a distinct disadvantage relative to all the other teams in the lobby. This team is set up to lose from the start. From the start of the game, they're set up to lose. And sure, maybe if they're the best team in the lobby, they'll still win. But that's not how ranked game modes work in games. The way they're supposed to work is that you play the ranked game mode and you end up finding a rank that you belong in. And you either improve relative to the player base, or you regress relative to the rest of the player base. And so your rank goes up or down due to this. Due to your performance, not due to the game giving you bad RNG. That's how battle royales have always worked. That's how game ranking systems should work. You should have complete control, besides for the map in and of itself, on how the game plays out, you as the player. And we have always had this control. But I mean, this doesn't surprise me that EA's decided to fuck this up. Let's move on to my next point, which is the rank system reset every 2 days. Now, there's what's called a ranked ladder now in Apex, and it might not be every 2 days, but it's every couple of days. The game decides to reset your rank, or it resets the ladder. But for people with jobs, for the employed, why are we doing that? And I'm not against a ranked reset. Okay, let's do a ranked ladder reset every 2 weeks. Because if you're employed, you should have the ability to, on some level, compete with other people. Okay? And the unemployed should also feel that their time in the game matters, I guess. But it should work for both groups. It shouldn't just work for one or the other. It should work for both. And I think a bi-weekly is a lot still for even the employed. But I think it's a good middle ground relative to what it is now. Next, let's talk about RNG loot on drop. RNG loot on drop is a key aspect of battle royales. Okay? And while I argued against RNG earlier, RNG loot on drop, by the law of averages, the good loot tends to be in the bigger ROIs, then the worst loot tends to be in the smaller ones. Hence, RNG loot on drop makes sense. Because in the general law of averages, a team who lands where there are more loot crates will end up getting better loot than a team that lands at a place where there are less loot crates. That's just how battle royales have always worked. And sure, sometimes that's not the case, but most of the time that is the case. And this differs from my previous point of RNG being bad in a dropping system, like where it predestinates your drop, because you can control this. You can control your relative RNG in this aspect of the game. Because if you choose where you drop, you're choosing at the very start of the game whether you want to be more risky, take more risk, inherit more risk, but come out of your drop location with better loot. That's what RNG loot on drop should do. It shouldn't progress throughout the game where the loot you got at the start of the game completely does not matter to the loot you get at the end of the game. And every loot crate right now in the game restocks, and each time they restock, I'm not opposed to it restocking, but each time they restock within the game, the loot gets better and better. In my opinion, that shouldn't be how it works. It should be just a blatant restock. That's all it should be. Just say straight up, hey, we're restocking the loot crates. That's all it should be. Okay. Let's move on to my next point. Hit reg issues. Now, I don't for sure know. I'm not completely beyond a shadow of a doubt sure if it is a spectating problem or if it is like an actual playing problem. Because in spectating, the spectating mode, let me give y'all a story of what happened. I was watching my friend try and clutch a game. It was a 1v2 or a 1v3, I forget. But he shot a guy 5 times. He shot a guy 5 times with a wingman. He missed 2 of the shots. He hit 3 of the shots, or we thought he hit 3 of the shots. But realistically, he only hit 1 of the shots because only 1 of the shots actually hit regged and did damage. Now, 3 of the shots, out of the 3 shots, 2 of the shots made the hit sound, as in when you hit somebody, it made the hit sound, but it did not give the hit marker, like the traditional hit marker in games. But it did give the hit sound, and it also gave the hit visual on the model of the enemy's character. So in Apex, there is a visual hit marker, and then there is also a model hit marker, I guess you could call it, where there's a flash of red on the enemy's Evo shield, sort of like where the bullet lands on the body. There's that like red hit marker on the enemy's Evo shield, but then there's also the traditional game hit marker So there's two in the game, right? It only gave one of those. And it did give the hit sound of the bullet hitting the person. But it did not register the damage, and it did not give the hit marker. The traditional hit marker. Which, in my opinion, that prescribes a hit reg issue. Because the guy hit him 3 times. The guy hit the enemy 3 times and only got 1 hit reg. That is a problem. An actual hit reg. That is a problem. And whether that is a spectating issue, if that is a spectating issue, you know, that sucks. Quite frankly, it does. And they should fix that. But it's not as bad as I'm thinking it is right now. Again, it could just be a spectating issue. But I've never heard of that type of spectating issue, personally. But it is a problem. To summarize all of this, I want to say I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Apex went down the shitter. EA always tends to make their games turn to shit, especially their multiplayer ones. Every time they have a golden egg, they like to throw it away and make the game shit. They did this with Madden. They did this with FIFA. And they did this with Apex. I'm not surprised. It's EA. I guess I guess I should have never had faith that the game would stay good over a longer period of time. But I mean, they've made a lot of wrong decisions. I hope they fix what I'm saying in this video. But they probably aren't. They're probably just going to release another Mythic skin. They're probably going to try and nickel and dime you for everything you have. And I'm saying this right now. You guys should not buy any microtransactions till they fix these problems. If you actually want the game to get better, you need to hit them where it hurts, their bottom line, because that's all they care about. That's all EA cares about as a company. I could care less if this company tomorrow burns up and dies. I hate EA. They're a shitty company. I'm quite comfortable saying that. With the past 20 years of experience that they've been making video games for, they have not learned one thing, which is give players what they want, and the responsibility is to make customers happy. That's their responsibility as a company. When they don't make us happy as customers, however, it is our responsibility to not support them as a company. I think that's been inherent for the past 7-8 years. Pretty obvious in my opinion. But here we are. And I may make a longer and bigger video on why I hate EA as a company and everything they stand for. But I'll end it off here on the EA hate. I do want Apex to be a better game. I've liked Apex. I've played a lot of Apex in my day. Played a lot of Battle Royales. I know what I'm talking about. And these are issues we should not be having in the big 2025. This isn't 2018 when PUBG just launched. This is 2025. EA's been a massive AAA studio for decades. They should not be having these issues with this game. Without further ado, y'all, I hope you guys have a great day. And as always, junk it out.